Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the Tableau workshop. I know that it's the end of the semester, so most of us might be going through like busy days. So I really appreciate you to participate in this workshop. I'm Youngmi Lee. I'm a GRA in Smarter Group. We're consulting unit in EDP. We provide a statistical consulting and workshop to people in EDP. I know that people are still coming. Okay, I'm gonna go on. I usually provide a consulting session for graduate students mostly. So people, students who are doing their dissertation, QP, or their project usually like come to me and ask questions about their statistical issues. And we have Aram. Aram is in this room too. Head consultant for the Smarter Consulting. He's here today to help me to like answer your questions, and he's usually taking charge of the consulting for staffs and faculty. And for the Smarter Group, we offer a couple of workshops per semester, like this workshop. And we've been offering the R workshop, these Tableau workshops, and Power workshop for past few semesters. The topic is, if you have any statistical topics that you are interested in, just let us know. So we're happy to offer a new workshop. Okay, I think that's enough for introducing ourselves. The workshop, I want to like point out a few things first. If you have any questions, you can just type your question in the chat, or you can just interrupt in the like middle of me talking. I'm not really good at like looking at the chat while I'm talking, but I will try my best to catch your question. And Adam here will help me to answer your questions. So if that sounds good? Okay. Okay, cool. Also, we are recording right now this in Zoom so that you can review later, or people who couldn't attend the workshop today can see this too. So after the workshop, I will send the link of the record after the workshop, so you can check that too. Okay. Let me check the people who are still coming. I want to talk about why data visualization is important first. So main reason is that visualized data give us a glimpse of the data at once. So that we can get a trend or patterns of the data easily. I brought an example here. Let's say we have to report some like descriptive statistic about the data. So here's a little table that I created in the left part. So in the table, in the right part of the table, it has means by gender and race. So this might be a simple table that we can see like easily every day, right? But to understand what these tables really saying, we have to spend some time and read this little value carefully. So rather than this table, here's a better options. I also created this table right hand side so we can compare this too. So as you see in just one site, we can say how two means by gender are different, like and how the means is different but based on the race and etc. Actually, this is the big data that I created for like anxiety measure. So we can see that female has a higher anxiety than male in general if you see the graphs. And it also like somewhat depends on the race, right? So I guess anxiety is higher in Asian, followed by whites, Hispanics, and African Americans. So this is the advantage of graphs give us. And I brought like some more interesting Tableau visualization that actually ranked as the best visualization in Tableau recently. That is this. So the title is Pineapple on the Pizza. So I think people are asking about what kind of topping they prefer. So it says like 40% of British people state that they like the pineapple topping. But in the graphs, if you hear about the like 40%, it sounds a little a lot. But if you see the graphs, this graphs is called dumbbell chart. The dumbbell term is, I don't know, but it calls the dumbbell chart. So if you find the pineapples, it's down here. So if you see the graphs as a whole, you can see that this pineapple percentage is not really a lot, right? So you can just glimpse the data at once. So you can see that people usually prefer the mushroom the best, followed by like hams, pepperoni, even though there's a like large variance between the pepperoni. But yeah, I just brought here because I thought this topic is interesting. I don't know. I used to love pineapple when I was young, but not anymore. And then here's the next example. This is the map visualization. Actually, Tableau is really good at this kind of thing. And I thought this plot is really neat. So I brought this. I think this represents the amount of rain by the region in United States. So if you see the graphs, the eastern side of the United States has a large amount of the rain, but the middle side of the United States has like less amount of the rain. And then here is a little graphs and then little infographic here that you can put this kind of little graphs like beside the large graph in the Tableau. We're gonna go through a little bit of that today too. This is actually called the dashboard features, but I'm gonna explain it later. Okay. So why Tableau? So there are some benefits if you learn how to work with Tableau. So first of all, it's really easy to create a graphs in Tableau, really. Even with this short workshop, you'll get some sense of how to make graphs. And the interface itself is really user-friendly than any other statistical software because it doesn't require any coding. So you can just click and drop the variables. So that was actually why I first started to learn the Tableau. Like before I do some like coding in other softwares, there weren't any like options for me to make some like great visualization except Excel. I know that Excel has some features to making a graphs, right? However, the visualization in Tableau is much fancier and more neat than Excel. So it was much useful for like creating a visualization for my paper or report. So that's how I first get into the Tableau. Also, another good things about Tableau is that it has a large community that keeps working and working to like solve new issues on the Tableau. And then they introduce a new ways to create the visualization like every day. So if you have like any graph that you want to make, you can just like Google, then you can find like tons of different graphs that people suggest you to draw. So I think that's really a cool thing in Tableau. Okay, so let me check the participants. Okay. Okay, I believe that you install the Tableau desktop or Tableau public here, right? So these are just like two different types of the Tableau. So you can see the Tableau desktop as a full version and Tableau public as a limited version. So, but fortunately, UT provides a 1-year license for students. So if you are like full-time enrolled students, you can use the Tableau desktop because you're gonna have a license for that. But for today's workshop, I'm gonna use the Tableau public today because there are some people who have installed the Tableau public instead of Tableau desktop. So yeah, the features are pretty same, but it has some like limited options in Tableau public. So I'm gonna explain a little bit about that while I'm going through the exercises. The main reason of this tool is how we can share the result. So if you have a Tableau desktop, the full version, uh, it's gonna allow you to like save workbook and then data itself, like privately, while Tableau public doesn't like allow you to share the result like that. It only let you just share the result online, and after that you can save that with by like the picture file like JPG or PNG or PDF file. I think you can download the workbook as well too. So I will show you how we do that at the end of the class because we're gonna create some graphs, make a dashboard, and try to upload it online and then get the result from that if you have enough time. Okay. Oh, and before we start to play with Tableau, I want to note something because I understand that it'll be like hard to follow the workshop activities on the Zoom because the screen is smaller, right? So, so I recommend you to like fix your view with your view option. So here's a small tip for Zoom. As I share my screen like this, you might see a like green bar at the on the like top. It is a like view option. So if you click that, you will find like another tab that you can adjust your view size. Uh, it's gonna be like 100% right now, but you can like uh make it larger, like 150%. I prefer 150%. And then even you can make your view like follow my pointer as I like move my pointer. So I think it'll be helpful if the font of the Tableau is small. So yeah, that's that. And I'll go as slow as possible, but please speak up or leave a chat if I'm getting too fast. I sometimes do that. Or you're always like welcome to ask me to do the same things like over and over again. I don't mind. So I'll let you know that. Okay, here's today's workflow. This is a topic for today's class. So we're gonna go through the big three step, and there's some graphs that we're gonna learn. So first step is to import the data to Tableau, how we gonna import the data to Tableau. And then the secondly, we're gonna learn how to do the visualization. And then there are 5 graphs that I brought today to exercise. The first is bar graphs, like here, this kind of bar graphs or histogram. And then box and whisker plot look like this. I'm gonna explain what it is. And then scatter plot to see the relationship between the two variables. And then map is we can draw this kind of map or this kind of map. So I'm gonna draw both kinds of map too. And then the dumbbell chart look like this. After drawing a graph, we have to do the tidy up and share step. So we're gonna learn how to work with the dashboard so we can just organize the several graphs into the one page and then make some contexts there. And then we're gonna share that on the Tableau server or Tableau public after that. Okay. So from the import data part, we're gonna switch to the Tableau. So I'm gonna switch. I recommend you to like open the Tableau public or Tableau desktop with me. Okay, so this is Tableau public. Okay, so I sent you the two data set, right? I'm gonna use both of the data set today, but this time, let's open the first text file. Oh, before we do that, I wanna explain more about the data first. So this is the first data set. The name was stress sample.csv. I prefer like CSV file rather than the Excel file because it's like useful for to like import that data for other statistical software, but it doesn't matter if it's Excel or anything. This was the real data set, but I manipulate a little bit to make a fake data set. So here is it. First column is ID, and then we have the demographic variable that we usually see in our like survey data, like age, gender, race, and then education, and then SES. And here are two main variables that we're gonna play with, like stress and depression. And I brought zip variable to make some maps graph. We're gonna make that graph as a location variable later. And then the total number of sample is 1,000 sample. Okay, let's switch to Tableau public. It doesn't matter if it's Tableau desktop. So if you have a Tableau desktop, you can just open the desktop. It's gonna be look a little different, but it doesn't matter at all. Okay, I'm gonna explain how to connect first. So if you open the Tableau, it would look like this, and then here's a connect. And
Hey,
so
Young Ring, I don't think we can see your Tableau screen, just so you know. We're still seeing the PowerPoint.
Oh, okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
I think I can just stop share and then share the screen again. Can you see my Tableau screen?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna open the text file because if you have a CSV file that fits to the text file, oh sorry, I think I have a little chat here which I cannot see. Oh, here. Okay. So click the text file and then let's open the stress sample data. And then before I click that, let's explain a little bit. So if you have Excel, you have to click this Microsoft Excel. And then I think this is just Java related file. And then it also can read the PDF file, which is a great feature. And then if you have a SCS access file or SPSS file, this should be open with the statistical file option here. So if you open the stress sample, it's look like this. So first of all, we can see that the stress sample is connected right now here. And then it automatically just read all the CSV file in my folder here. So you can see that there are stress sample file and then the USA zip file I also sent you through email, right? And then this is our main data. And then we can see the data structure here. If you see closely, you can see the color difference like this. So this is actually blue. It doesn't seem like it. It's blue, and then this is the green. So if Tableau when Tableau read the data, it just automatically receive the variable as either like continuous or the categorical variable, so or the dimension variable. So if Tableau receives the variable as a dimension, it just gives blue color here. And then if the variable is the measure or continuous variable, it's green here. And if you think like, let's say this age is not a number, but let's say this is just this dimension, just character, then you can just click this and you have to change the types of the variable. But usually Tableau receives it correctly, but you can just check like if gender, because this is character, it give us ABC here, right? And then this is measures for sure. And because this zip file, zip variable is location variable, it gives us this little Earth icon here. So this is how Tableau receives the data. So, and then after like checking the data, we can go to the worksheet to create a graph. So it says go to the worksheet. We're gonna click this sheet 1. So, ta-da, this is the Tableau interface. I'm gonna explain one by one. So here in the data, it has a dimension part and then the measure part, and then it automatically divide our variable into 2 types, right? So all the like character variable and then the dimension variable comes here. All the continuous variable is coming here. You see that there are new variable are generated based on the zip, like latitude and then longitude here, number of record, and then measured values. This is what just Tableau automatically do, so you don't have to really like care much about this new. Oh, the blue color means the dimension, like categorical variable, not numbers. Okay. And if you wanna like create a new variables here, you can do that too. Like if you click this little triangle sign here, it has a create a calculated field. We're gonna use that later to create a little one new variable. Okay, so even though Tableau doesn't have any syntax, there are features that we can use like a syntax, so we can see how other people make their graphs. That is here, columns and rows. So these 2 rows represent the syntax of the Tableau. So if we want to, if we just click this any variable and then drop here, this is kind of syntax here. So we can see how we make these graphs. And if we want to like get rid of this variable, we can just grab this variable again and then drop it anywhere, like this blank or here, another blanks. Then it disappeared. And then this is a page card. If you have a like multiple years or multiple countries like location, you can use this page card, but we are not gonna use it today. And then here's a filter card if you wanna filter some variable. And then this markup, you're gonna use a lot in the markup, like change the color, change the size, text, the marks, and then the details, and then tilted. This marker is what we use really a lot. We're gonna go through this one by one. Okay, so first graph we're gonna practice is histogram, which is the simple graphs that give us the glimpse of the data, right? So first, I wanna see let's check the distribution of stress first, because there are two variables like here. So what we're gonna do is mostly we're gonna use the show me feature. Show me feature is here, right upper corner. So if you open the show me feature, it gives us a variety of types of the graph that we can just select. And then good things about this show me feature is that if we like hover over any graphs, it just gave us what kind of variable that we need. So for example, for histogram, we need one measure variable, right? And if we click this line graphs, it asks us one or more dimension, and then 0 or more dimension, and then one or more measure. So at least we need one measures, and then it's good to have a dimension after that. So for the histogram, we need one measurement. So here's how we do. So we just click stress, and then while clicking the stress, if we click the stress, the show me feature shows us what kind of graph is possible for us to draw. So for one measurement variable, we can draw a bar graphs, so horizontal bars, or histogram, right? So if I click this, it gives us the histogram, look like this. So let's see. There's the distribution of the stress, right? So we can see that there are a lot of people here in the low stress, and then there's a really few people in the upper part of the stress. So the distribution itself is really skewed like this. But still, we have some people who need like clinical help or something. So like this, we can just see the distribution of the graphs really easily. And then after making these graphs, we can just change the title of this graph for the later use. So I'm gonna just click this and rename histogram. Then it just automatically changed the titles here. You can change the titles here as well. I don't think that really matter. Well, I usually like prefer to write names here because that automatically make the title for me. And next, you can make like bunch of graphs afterward, like by clicking this new sheet. You can click this icon here, or you can do the same thing with these little options here. It's doing the same. I'm gonna click this one to open the sheet too. Am I too fast? If I fast, just leave a message in the chat, please. Okay, next, I'm gonna draw a bar graphs with like more dimension variable. So let's see. I wanna find the average stress by gender. Oh, so I have a question that what is the difference between the dashboard, sheet, and story? That's a really good question, and then that also makes me really confused. Oh, there's more question. I'm gonna go to that too. Okay, so there's a worksheet, dashboard, and then the story. You can look this as a step. So first of all, you have to make a worksheet. So each worksheet will create one graph. You are creating your one graph in one sheet. And then after you're creating like bunch of worksheet, like 3 or 4, and then you go to the dashboard, and then you can think of this dashboard as a real life dashboard. So you can pick your graph and then attach to the dashboard wherever you want. So you can make a one large dashboard with multiple graphs in it. And then after you're creating a dashboard, if you have a like context of your report or your presentation, you can make a dashboard like lining up. So you like a slide, you can show like multiple dashboard in the story. So that's how story is made. Story is made. Is that helpful? But you're not gonna go through the story because for the story we need multiple dashboard. So that's really a lot and that needs more time. You want the spin size? Adjusting a spin size. I think in here, if you click the marks, and then you can change the tick origin and the tick interval. I never done that, but if you change it to the like 5, it'll just automatically change it. It's gonna be like edit the axis or like formatting, but I don't know. I'm gonna like spend some time on that and then let you know the answers later. Okay.
I can work on it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so for the bar graphs, I'm gonna find some average stress by gender. So let's try that. So let's grab stress. And then if you click like comment button and then click another one, you can just grab the like multiple variable at once like this. But this time I'm gonna just grab gender into the columns. And then after that, grab stress into the rows like this. And because it's automatically summed up, I'm gonna change that to the average. So if you click this little triangle here and then change that to the average, it becomes the average like this. So let's see. If you see the result, we can see that the average stress is higher in male, right? And then if you want to put some colors by gender, you can do that too by grab gender here and then put in the colors. It'll look like this. And then you can change the color too. You can just click this region. This region is automatically created. You can just double click this. And then if you wanna change the color of female with maybe yellow, you can just double click this yellow sign. You can find more palettes here by clicking here. There's like a bunch of more palettes. And then you click OK. It'll look like this. You also can have a like multiple dimension on the column. So let's try. For example, I wanna put SES here so that I can see the average stress by gender and SES. So it look like this. You can also like switch the column. Like for example, you can put gender here, then it automatically change the format of the graphs like this. So it divides the average stress by the SES first, and then by the gender. But you can see that the SES, the order of the SES is not right now, right? Because less than $2,000 is right here. It should be the smallest. So in this case, you can like solve the order of this variable by go to the SES, and then you can find sort here. And then you can change it by data source order, alphabetic field, and then there's a manual. Then you can change this manually by clicking. Okay, looks much better. So we can see the trend now, right? So if people have a less SES, their average stress likely to be higher than the people who have a larger income, right? And then there is always a difference between the female and male SES. Mostly the average stress of male is higher than the female, except for the largest SES. So this is the information that we got from this bar graphs. And then let's create another one. I just make this graph by just grab some variable and then put the variables into the columns or rows, but you can make this manually by the show me feature. So let's change this name first, bar1. Then let's open the new sheet. If you want to just delete these graphs, you can just click this little icon here. That'll just clear our sheet, and then you can make a new graphs there too. But this time, I'm gonna just create a new sheet like this. And then this time, I'm gonna make a similar bar graphs, but this time with the show me feature. So let's do this with gender. And maybe this time education, and then average stress, and then click the show me feature. Then it just recommends us to draw bar graphs. So this Python graphs is the graphs that we can draw with those variables, but Tableau recommend me this graph would be the best for those variables. That's what this red rectangle means. So if I click this, it just automatically create these graphs for me. You can just switch the columns and row, like swap the columns and row by clicking this little feature. Let's try it. Then it'll give you the swapping version of the graph, the same. This time what I want to like try is we learned that we can put like multiple variables in the rows or the columns, right? But can we like put the dimension variable with the measure variable? So I want to try that. Let's say we gonna use the trace in the columns with the stress. Oh, and don't forget to change the sum of stress into the average, like this. Okay. You remember that I switched the order of the gender and the other variable, right? I wonder if that's possible with the measurement variable as well. So if I try to put this after the average of stress, it's not actually possible because for the measure variable, you have to divide the data by category first and then just calculate the measurement later. So this kind of order makes sense. So the measurement variable always goes after the dimension variable. And also you can put some colors here too to look the graphs easier or prettier. So let's try that. If you raise here, the color is distributed by the race, right? So we can see that by gender, male seems to have a higher average stress. This is empty because I don't think there's any data there. And then education, oh, this education, the order is not right. So I'm gonna solve this like we did last time. So manually, and then high school graduate, college, and then graduate school graduate. It'll look like this. Okay, so this is a more complicated version of the bar graphs. So let's change the graph's name here, bar 2. Okay, but with this kind of bar graphs, there will be like some more information that we cannot find in the bar graphs. So we're gonna learn about the bars and whisker plot. So bars and whisker plot is it just divide the data into 4 categories, like minimum and 25%, like we call quantile, the first quantile, and then the median. And then thirdly, the upper quantile, which is the 75%, and then the maximum. So if you see the show me feature here, this is a box and whisker plot. And then we are trying to draw that right now for just for fun exercise. So here, I have a simple example right here. So if you see this example, you would know how to make this box and whisker plot. So I'm gonna give you 3 minutes. It's gonna be enough, 3 minutes, so that you can try to draw this plot by yourself. Use stress, gender, and ID variable, and then try to filter the range of the average stress from 0 to 40, or you can just change the value anyways. Then don't forget to make this stress average, not sum. Okay, 3 minutes. I'm gonna wait for 3 minutes, and then we're gonna go over it. If you're done, can you please put the like yes sign or thumbs up, anything? Chat is fine too. I'm reading it. Okay. I'm gonna slowly do the box and musical plot for those of you who's not finished yet. So let's grab ID, right? ID, and then the gender, and stress. Then like multiple graphs is pop up in the show me feature, but I'm not gonna draw the bar graphs, but let's try box and whisker. After that, we have to change the type of the stress because now this is sum to the average, like this. Okay, from this box and whisker plot, what we can see is there's like a bunch of the outliers. So to see the box and whisker plot clear, I first want to make this filter. To filter, you can use like bunch of methods, but this time I'm gonna show you how to use the filter card. So you just grab stress, put into the filters, and then in filter field, you can click average. And then you can change the values here. Now, I think the maximum is 189, so that's why it sets up with 189, but you can just pull this little line here, or you can just write it here for you. Then it'll look like this. As I explained previously, this is the minimum, and then this is a 25% first quantile, and then this is a median, which is 50%, and this is 75%, and this is the maximum. And I know that there's are more data like above the maximum part, so that means this is the outlier actually. So if we really want to like analyze something, we have to do something with the outliers by like identify who is the outlier in this box and whisker plot. Of course, there's other method too, but this is one of the methods. Okay, but there is a problem in this box and whisker plot because see, if someone has a 10 score for the average stress, all of them would be in this same location, right? So we don't know how many are these in these dots. So if you wanna like see how many like people in this the same score, we have to like draw a little different box and whisker plot. We call that jitter. And for making a jitter, we have to create a new field, like variable, and then make a jitter box and whisker plot. So I'm gonna try that, but I wanna just save this box and whisker plot. So this time, I'm not creating a new worksheet, but I wanna duplicate this worksheet. Then you can just copy and paste. It's gonna be the same. But this time, we're gonna try the jitter graphs. Okay, this is how we do it. First, we have to create some new one new variable. Let's go to this triangle sign, and then click create calculated field like this, and then this will be the name of the new variable. I want to call it here, and then here I'm gonna use the function index. What this index does is that it just provides 1 through the last number to the everyone. So from like 1 through like 1,000. That's what this does. So if you click OK, there is a new variable that we just created, right? And after that, you're gonna just grab this jitter and then put in the column next to the gender. And that doesn't make any difference, but what you have to do is click here. And then here we're using computing using by ID. I'll just narrow it down a little bit. Look like this. If these dots are too small, each dot represents the one ID. So if you hover over this little dot, you can see who is this person actually located in 27 or 8 location, right? If this dot is too small, you can change the size in the mark card, like clicking size, and then increase a little bit like this. And then I'm gonna just add little colors here to make it prettier. So this is how we make the jitter. So if you see this box and whisker plot, you can just interpret it like just exactly that you interpret the box and whisker plot. But this time you can see how many people are in the same average stress, right? And then if you see this, there's one thing really strange because for the female, the x-axis is from 0 to like almost like more than 500, but for the male, it just stopped before the 400. So what this means is that the number of the female and male is different. So if you just hover over this ID is start from 1 to the end, right? And that is same for the male. So because the number of male is smaller than the female, this kind of difference can be like appeared. But this is another information that you can get from these jitter graphs. So I think this is really cool. Okay, let's move on to another graphs. Before I move on, do you have any question? You can just speak up or leave a message. Okay, I think I can just move on. The next graph I'm gonna try to do is scatter plot. The scatter plot is the graphs that we can find the correlation between the two variables, which is mostly the main interest of the researchers. So in the show me feature, we're gonna use this feature, scatter plot. So for this scatter plot, we need 2 to 4 measure, right? For scatter plot, try 2 to 4 measures. So this time, because we have 2 main measurement, which is depression and the stress, I'm gonna try to make the correlation plot, scatter plot with those 2 dimension, 2 measure variable. So click depression and stress, click this one. This seems strange, right? Because we only have one variance here. Because the sum of stress is 21,000 and then depression is 22,000. It just gives us just one little dot here. First, let's fix that. For that, we have to put ID into the detail, look like this. So that it can make it can show us the correlation between the 2 variables look like this. And because this is a sum of stress and depression, I wanna fix that first into the average. You can make this scatter plot prettier, or and you can put more information in it. So let's say you want to see this scatter plot by race, for example. Then you can add the race variable into the color, maybe. And then you can like change the size larger. And then you can also like change the shape of it, because this is a circle, like not feel like empty circle. And you can use these shape options to make a fill circle. I like it this way actually. Then you can give some opacity here. So that we can see if this is if these 2 circles is too close, we can see which one is which by the race, right? Okay. And then if you wanna like mark anyone, like for example, if we see this individual as an outlier and then want to show that what kind of information this little dot has, there is a like you can mark level, or you can annotate marks with this. Then you can find you can just mark the ID or race or their values like this. I want to just add the race and then average depression, average stress like this. And it's gonna give me these little marks look like this. And after making these graphs, we wanna find the regression coefficient, right? We wanna see the effect of the stress on the depression. So Tableau is not really like estimating something, but it can estimate the regression line coefficient. So this is how we do it. If we just hover over the blank page here on the graph, and then if you click if you right click show trend line like this, then it's gonna give us just trend line by race. So if you see the result closely, the coefficient for Asian is the highest, right? And then for trend line for the coefficient for the African American are the lowest, right? And then you can also get this coefficient value by hover over this line, and it will give you the result. So the average of stress for Asian is -0.9. But if their stress is increased by 1 unit, their average depression is also increased by 1.16 units. So this coefficient is kind of like higher than the other race, right? So you can see the difference like this. What if we want to see the coefficient, the regression line for like overall? I think you can do this in 2 ways. First is just get rid of the gender race variable, but there's a better options rather than just deleting the race variable. What you can do is you can click edit trend line. I just right click this any graphs here, edit, and there's a model type, linear, logarithm, exponential. You can like click anything here, but this time I just gonna leave it into the linear. But here's an option that divide this trend line to the 4 categories right now. So if we just remove this and then click OK, it's just gonna give us the overall. So for the overall, it looks almost have like just perfect correlation. Yeah, so we can see that the coefficient here is almost 1. So if you have like 1 unit stress increase, you're gonna have increase by 1 unit too. So this represents almost a perfect correlation right now. I just want to divide this into the race because it looks nicer. Okay, I explain how to do the filters, right? But if you double click, you can just edit the axis, like clicking fixed, and then it gives you the where was the fixed start and then where was the fixed end. So you can like change the values here, like I want it from 0 to 100. Then it'll gonna change. You can use the filter card that I explained like a few minutes ago, right? So if you put this stress into the filter and then click average, so that's kind of a two-way that you can just fix the range of your variable. Okay, let's do some fun things here. Oh, I wanna rename this getter. Let's do some map graphs. This is quite interesting. And then if you have a location variable, you can like draw a map graph like anywhere in the world actually. This time I have a zip code for United States. So we're gonna just draw a map graphs within the United States. So here, let's draw some depression map this time. Click depression and then click zip. And then go to the show me feature. And then there's a 2 types of map, but this time I'm gonna draw this type of map. I'm gonna explain the reason later, but here. Yay. It just automatically like grab the zip code and then put it in the map of United States and then control the size of the circle by the depression. So because it's in right side, let's move on. Click this, and then you can move by clicking this little, and then just zoom up. Okay. And because the circle seems small, I'm gonna just increase them. And then make the color. I'm gonna put some opacities here. Okay. You can also change the colors by the depression, while the size is also depending on the depression, put depression in the colors. And then because this is a measurement variable, it just automatically puts some gradient color by the depression. You can change these colors too by clicking this region. And then there are like bunch of palettes here. So we can just change. Oh, and there's a step color options. This is how we divide this gradient color. So if you click this, it will just give us the 5 steps of the color. And just change it to the 3 or 4, so that if the color gets darker, that means those locations have people who have higher depression. This time, I'm gonna just leave it as a grant. So if you have a G code, it's quite easy to make this kind of map graphs. But if you wanna use these map graphs, you need another variables. So for doing that, we need another data that I provide you. The name was USA zip, right? In Tableau, we can merge the data. So that's how that should be working here, data source. So let's go back to the data source. Okay, so this is the main data we were working on, right? And we want to merge the USA zip file with this stress sample. So what you have to do is just clicking these two, and then decide the variable that I'm gonna use for merge. So let's see. In the stress sample data, we have a zip code. And then in this USA zip file, we have abbreviation, and then the city, state, and then the zip code. So if in the USA zip file, it would look like this. So we only had a zip code previously, but because this USA zip file have a city, state, and abbreviation variables, it just merged those two data. Because I click inner merge, that only leave us the complete data set. But if I click left merge, there's gonna be some I can see it in up here, but it only merged the merge based on the left-hand data, which is the stress sample. And then if there is a zip code that is not exist in the right-hand side data, which is the missing data, right? This right is the same process vice versa. And then if you click full outer merge, that would give you, that would just match all the zip code. But if there is no data match with the left or right side of the data, it just gives you the missing. I prefer inner or left merge, but this time let's do the left merge here. Okay. So I might have some NAs, but all the data is depend on the stress sample. Okay, now the data is merged. Let's go back to the map data. So this is gonna be the map 1. And we're gonna create a new spreadsheet. And this time, here these are the data set we just merged, right? So this time we can use the state variable. So click state and depression. And then if you open the show me feature, you can now create this graphs. Yay, it looks like this. So we didn't know that there was Alaska data here, but I think we can check. Click map 1. Here was a little data set here, data here, that one person represents Alaska. And I guess this is Hawaii, right? But main United States. Okay. So types of the map graphs actually depends on the purpose of graphs. So you can draw like either map graphs that fits with your purpose. This time, I wanna just label this a little bit. So if you click this label option in the marks, and then click show mark label, it'll give the value, which is the value for the depression, because this is now sum of the depression. The value looks large, but we'll change this into the average. Okay, there we go. It makes sense. Okay, so we can see that there are higher depression in Indiana, here North Carolina, and then rather low depression in Montana. Look like this. You can change the color here too, and then if you have other variable that you want to add to this graph, you can do that too. Okay. This is gonna be the last graph that we're gonna go through. This is really interesting. I like this chart. I use this chart a lot. Oh, I wanna name this as here, which is called dumbbell chart. So dumbbell chart is actually not in the show me feature, but we're gonna use show me feature to create a dumbbell chart. So dumbbell chart, we can compare like 2 different categories by other variables too. Like if you wanna like compare the male and female difference, we can do that in the dumbbell chart. Let's first create a dumbbell chart so I can explain more about this chart later. Okay, so first thing we have to do is grab some variables that we need. So let's say I wanna see the depression by gender and SCS maybe. And then we're gonna create some circle view, look like this. But because this is dumbbell chart, I want the dumbbell to be in horizontal line. So let's swap this like this. I just click this little options so that I can just swap the rows and columns. And control this a little bit. And I'm gonna change the shape and the size a little bit to make it prettier. So size should be, okay, looks good. Okay, for the dumbbell chart, we need the dual axis. So let's try. Grab depression on the right side of the column. It looks strange because this time what we just did is put new graphs here, exactly the same, right? But first we have to change this into the average. And then we have to make this as a dual axis. You can do that by clicking this little triangle here. And then click dual axis. What it just did is just make a axis in dual. So this is just overlap. The two circle is now overlapped, right? And these two axes look the same, but just in case we have to like we want to just synchronize these two axes, like synchronize axis, so that the upper part and then the lower part of the axis should be always the same. This time this is 0 to 32 right now. Okay. The difference in this, the difference between the other graphs and these graphs is that it has actually it's 3 marks, like all this card and then the lost card. The second card and then lost card looks the same because we draw the same circle graphs right now. So the second card is representing this part, and then the third card representing this part. So what we're gonna do is change a type of graphs in one part into the line graphs so that we can just connect the male and female circle. So go to the second card, and then we're gonna change the shape into the line. Looks ugly, but we can fix that. We can fix that by grab the gender here and then go to the path like this. Ta-da! So this is a dumbbell chart. We can just finish like this, but there's a better design for the dumbbell chart, which is you can just fix the size a little bit, like and then change the color like this. The circle looks a little small, so let's fix that. Okay. So in this sense, we can create a beautiful dumbbell top like this, and then see the difference between the gender by the SES. We can just fix a little bit more by the order is not quite right now. Oh. Manually sort. Okay, looks good. So let's read the data. After we made the data, so now it's time to read the graphs, right? So average depression is getting higher as the SES get lower, right? But the difference between female and male is different by the SES. It's really interesting that if someone's SES is in this range, their difference between the gender male and female is really large than other SES categories. So you can pick up those information with this dumbbell chart. So let's change the names here. Dumbbell. And then let's go to the dashboard. So this is a dashboard, or if you want to make another dashboard, you can click this little options here. So if you go to the dashboard, if you have a Tableau desktop, you're gonna have a wider space for the dashboard, but for the Tableau public, we have this size. I think this size is the maximum. So we can see this dashboard as a real dashboard. So let's pick up our graphs that we created and then put it in the dashboard. So let's see. I wanna add Peter, and then why don't we put dumbbell chart here? Dumbbell chart is map. Oh, why don't we do this? Why don't we just compare these two maps? Instead of that, I want to put this map to right here. So we can just compare these two. Okay, so this is how we create a dashboard. Because this dashboard is rather small, so I can only like put like few of the graphs. But if the size of the dashboard is larger, you can pick like more graphs there. And also there's a more object that you can put in this dashboard. For example, if you wanna like write something here, you can add the text, click text, and then let's put it here somewhere. And then we can say spring 2020. And then you can add text here. There's some more object that you can add, like web page, blank, or image. You can add like whatever you want. Okay, so it's time to share this. So if you're using the Tableau public, you have to have an ID on the Tableau public so you can share. I'm gonna show you how to do that. And oh, I just noticed something. If you wanna add the title on your dashboard, you can use this one, show dashboard title. And then you can edit this by double clicking and then write my dashboard like this. Okay, let's share this. So for Tableau Public, first you have to go to the file, and then there's a two options: save to Tableau Public, save to Tableau Public as. So if you click this, it's gonna ask you to the workbook title. So let's do workbook first, and then save. I actually logged in like a few minutes ago, so I don't know if it's gonna ask me to like log in again. Can you see the web page, the Tableau web page? Yes. Okay, thank you. So I just upload my dashboard to my Tableau public, so anyone can see this, but I don't think like people. I don't think people can just easily find this because they have to Google. So this is how I publish it, and after publish it, I can just download it with variety of types. Like this is a download. So if you can share with others, like if you click this, it's gonna give you the link or something. So you can share with others, or you can just download it by image or PDF or PowerPoint, or even you can download the Tableau workbook in your laptop so that you can just share or put it attached to the email and then send it to others. So yeah, this is how we just end up with our work, the Tableau work. And is there any question about how to share or the dashboard? Yeah, login is required. So you have to make a account and then have to log in. Okay. I think that's all for the today's workshop. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. And then if someone has to leave, you can leave. But I'm gonna stick around like a few more minutes. So if you have a question, just speak up or just leave the comments there. Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.
Where can I find the recorded this workshop?
Oh, the recorded. We recorded, and then
Yeah.
after we got the video, I'm gonna send you the link
Mm-hmm.
for the recording. We might gonna upload this to the YouTube.